Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Nate from Team Learning and Growing, and here we have Adrian, who got top 16 at the most recent Otakon regional that was over this weekend. Team Lag ended up having 3 people in top 8 and another 2 in top 16, so we had 5 people in top 16, which was a crazy, crazy great showing. This is like the first big event that we've had like so many people from Team Lag
I think
go
this is the
to.
first big event we've really been to.
I mean, we went to too many games, right? We went to too many games with a few of us, but and we went to a couple like large store championships. So this was like the first big regional we had a bunch of people go to, and we had even more do really, really well. We actually had more people in top 16 this tournament than actually went to the too many games regional. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. But Adrian, tell us what you played.
I played El Bebé.
Oh,
my favorite leader, the baby.
the tournament, the deck that won, was that you?
No, definitely not.
Oh, okay. That was.
I saw Mike in round 10, and he absolutely fucking clapped my cheeks. So that's just the way that went.
Yeah, but and I'm sure everyone here is going to be looking for that winning list, but obviously this list did really, really well. Adrian got top 16, and it's actually really different than it actually is really different than when Mike was piloting, and it's a different approach to the kind of control meta that we're facing right now. And obviously there's not too many big tournaments before Zenkai releases, but in case this is something you guys want to try out or something you want to look into, Adrian's going to go over his deck. So let's get right into it.
So, I played Baby, the one that the list I didn't win, but still got top 16. I ended up going 10th with this list, so it's definitely still not a shit list. So Baby is unimportant for the most part. What's really important about him is that he plays the field spell, which reduces the cost of all blue counters in your hand by 1 when you have no battle cards in the field. That's the errata. He's a draw 2 leader, awaken, swing on lead, draw on lead, top 3 for a counter, any counter. Best part of this leader. He can add any counter, he can add hatch, Ready to Rumble, Sun Gohan Baby's Minion. He can't add Oceanus, which is a bummer, but the leader would be absolutely cracked if he could. So, yeah. So I'm going to start with the 4-ofs because they're like the most kind of self-explanatory. You have 4 Sun Gohan Baby's Minion. Card is really strong. This is my negate of choice against U7 early because they don't have the hand size to keep up the funnel right into your face. They will lose their hand size and they won't be able to recover it because they don't play much draw outside of the leader. Baby Unison, not really a problem. You swing at it with Boo, and then you remove it in time. Oceanus, probably one of the dumbest negates in the game, alongside with the rest of the package. It really punishes your opponent for wanting to crack you open. And this deck can very easily hold a bunch of 1-drop negates, RBB, which I'll get to next, D-Magics. You'll see them, and by the time they realize that they're not going to crack you, it's too late. They've already swung too far. They've lost, 8, 12 cards. And in a game where you only start with, 47 cards, 47 minus 6, 41 from all the cards you put down, this really matters if you lose 12 of them.
So obviously, with Gohan and Gohan and Oceanus, it sets up like basically people can take the challenge, and then you punish them for taking the challenge with the rest of the hard negates that you guys
that's
provide.
always what this deck has been. It's like, I'm going to set up the challenge, and then if you want to take it, sure, and if you don't take it, eventually I'll just win anyways with my later bombs. And then we have the standard 1-drop negate package. Let me put that level 2 up front so y'all can see the drip. RBB, D-Magic for 1 mana. D-Magic is D-Magic for 0 mana for 1 mana as well. But this draws a card. This I often use. This is I use for sparking. The sparking part is the best part about it, I would say. A lot of my teammates give me a lot of crap because I like to go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 using this package. But I feel like that's the most efficient use of this card. You literally turn this into this for 0 mana because it ends up being a draw 1 from your life, and then you untap 2. And then these are the punishment cards.
And this is reduced by 1 also by Planet Tuffles, right?
Yeah, so this is reduced by 1 by Planet Tuffles, so it's a 1 mana card. if you have a battle card, you need to have 2 mana open in order to make it like not -1 on your mana. But if you have something on the board, it still breaks even. Which is the best part, because people will see 2 mana and then they'll assume that because you floodgated already, that any battle negate you play afterwards is going to cost you at least 1 mana. So they try to calculate your mana based off the battle card you have on the board, and it's like this card just breaks even. It's like 0, 0, 0, 0. If you see all 4 of them, which oftentimes you'll probably have like 1 or 2 in hand you'll be holding.
Because you'll scry them also.
Yeah, of course. And you see them off the top. All these cards are searchable off the top, again, except Oceanus, which makes them really, really strong. This is often what you scry for. D-Magics, RB, Revenge of Bangatex. You want to see them because they're really, really strong. Ready to Rumble. This card, I will say, absolutely overperformed this tournament. This is just 3 mana Hatchiyak. In most situations, I play this card and your turn is over, because you don't want to take this challenge with this plus Boo on board. It's going to cost you 2 mana just to get through, right? Because this is a blocker, 20k blocker. Boo is a 20k blocker, and Oceanus is also a blocker. So if I leave an Oceanus on board, it's going to cost you 3 mana just to punch it through. That's like later on in turns 4 or 5. But even if you have 5 mana, killing 3, 4 of your own mana you will still lose. Because
killing your mana is also never good.
Yeah, for the most part.
If you're not getting anything.
There are some situations where you can justify playing through the Ready to Rumble, but you better be going for game.
Yeah, you better be going for game.
You better be holding Exodia in hand in order to make it work. 4, Majin Buu, Unison. The card itself needs no explanation. It is absolutely bananas. It does the absolute most. -1.
Clears things, draws cards, restands energy, is a blocker, is a double strike,
is 20k. The card does it all. Does it all plus your taxes and the dishes.
Everything and your taxes.
Yeah, it's insane.
In our last deck profile with Jose, who will also be doing a deck profile for this tournament, we were talking about how this might be the best Unison in the game. Obviously, all the other colors got a really, really good Unison in this last set, but Boo is really like unmatched, I think.
Yeah,
in what
I think for current Unison lineups, I think I'd probably have like Boo, Yellow Gohan, the new one, the 3-drop, like Red Baby,
and then green Golden,
and then green Golden, and then like last would be like Red Jiren.
Yeah,
would be my lineup for like best Unisons.
Yeah,
this Unison is absolutely snapped out of its mind. It also acts as a floodgate proc. If your opponent wants to swing with a battle card into a floodgate, you can -1 and force them to burn a swing. So try to Ready to Rumble, burn a mana, you don't even get to the battle phase. The combo step rather. 2 Zeno, 2 Vegeta. This is the split that I went with. I know Mike played 4 Zeno. I never have really been a fan of 4 Zeno. I like having the ability to swing at my opponent's battle cards with my idiots, and then just +10ing them and filtering my hand, like getting rid of things that I don't need and seeing 2 off the top. This also applies pressure to lets your 15k leader swing at 20s to clear 25, forces them to either combo 2 cards or a super combo. Always good. And like I said, you don't really play battle cards, so your opponent's responses most oftentimes are not going to really affect your board. So, like, a lot of the realm extra cards, completely useless against you because you don't have cards on board. And then those are all the 4 ofs that I played. And then we have the list of 3 ofs. I played 3 Janemba and 3 Janemba.
So what do these do? Because these are cards that people might not know what they do.
So the 4-drop, they're both 4-drops. I lied. So this, we'll take what's funny for now. This 4-drop Janemba becomes a 1-drop if my opponent controls a battle card, and I have none. It becomes a 1 mana, and at the end of the turn, I tuck it under my deck, and you mill 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's also 20k critical deflect, which is insane against some decks.
For 1 mana, also.
Yeah, it's 1 mana, 20k critical deflect, which is insane against some decks because you can really kind of play until the later rounds where they are expecting to sort of start gaining value from your boost swings, and you just start cracking them with these idiots, and they have to start defending critical swings because in the later stages of the game, your resources, getting those resources from your life, like really, really, really matters. And if you don't see them because I'm denying you with 20k crits, then it puts you in a bad situation. For the other 3-drop, the other 4-drop, this is a 4-mana Janemba. When you play it, it has critical, 20k, same as the other one. When you play it, it untaps an energy at the end of the turn, and then you activate main, you warp it, your opponent mills 3, you draw a card. So this card is, again, same thing as the last one, is 20k crit. You play it raw for 4, and then you can either swing at your opponent, or if you feel like your opponent might actually be able to mess up your Janemba, right? Like if you're playing against like Cooler, if you're playing against like Bulma, if you're playing against
anything that can interrupt the battle.
Anything that has a battle trick, for the most part, you don't want to swing with this thing. You just want to play it for 4, activate the auto, activate the main, recycle the card, draw 1, make your opponent mill 3. One of my favorite plays is actually turn 5. You play this for 4, you activate, you warp it, your opponent mills 3. At the end of the turn, you untap 1, you draw 1, and then you play this for 1, and then you just end. Your opponent mills 5.
And they both clear themselves off the board, so it does also lean into the Planet Tuffles needing the errata needing you to have a clear board.
That's the best part about these things, is that they work very well with this.
They very much lean into Planet Tuffles, which is really, really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this is a card that I wasn't sure if I really wanted to play for a decent amount of time before I got more testing in, but now with the amount of testing that I've done for this deck, this is definitely a good card. It probably couldn't be 4, and it probably couldn't be 2. I think the 3 is the perfect amount. The other Janemba could go down to 2 or could go up to 4 depending on the matchup, but this is definitely a 3 of. For my next 3 of, the boy himself, God Sealing. I only play 3. I don't side a 4th. I only have 3 God Sealings. My logic behind this is a card that I can always tutor. Basically, my leader will always be able to look at the top 3 cards of my deck and search for this card. So I don't need to play more than 3, really. I will always have one in hand when I need it. Because, I mean, you're supposed to be holding a lot of times your opponent will try to play battle cards. And even if they're really big, it doesn't matter because they're not going to punch through anyways. And against other threats, this card doesn't do anything, right? Like 8-drop U7, this card, worthless. Turning the Tide, worthless.
Vegeta SCR,
worthless. Divine Presence, completely worthless. I'd rather let them have that card and then just charge this as a free charge, because I'm not going to bounce their stuff anyways, and then just have them run into my floodgates, which they are usually not very well prepared for. Even if you are playing Resolve Renewed or something, it's fine. Ready to Rumble is 20k, it just goes over. I play 3 Realm SPRs. I have to mention the rarity. Sorry, 3 Beerus Realms. Card's cracked. Card's absolutely insane.
It gives you the removal you need.
Yes.
You need
oh my lord! I think this card makes this deck very, very good. A big problem with blue and in this deck in general is that it has problems removing things that are either really low to the ground or really high up. It deals pretty well with mid range, but when you have this card, you don't have to worry about it. If your opponent goes tall, you can deal with it. If your opponent goes really low, you can also deal with it. So this card, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it makes you want to go into the combo step more often, but it also acts as a cycle piece because you tap 1, you combo it, you draw 1, and then you throw away a 5k or something. If you're playing, you'll see I'm playing Kami in here, and if you don't need it, you just combo it off. Card's cracked. I side a 4th. We'll get to that later. 2 ofs. Baby 8, 5-drop. Gotta play it, gotta love it. Card's insane. There was actually a moment in round 9, I think it was. I was playing against one of the Meta Monster Gaming guys. I hatched, and he goes cooler counter, and I just go baby 8. Response? Nothing? Cool. Alright, my hatch goes through. I mulled them out with King Cold, and we'll get to that one later too. But card's cracked. There are points in the game where if you have this in hand, you can just jam it and then just knock your opponent over the head with 30k triple strike. Oftentimes your opponent will tap out on your turn when you're swinging with things because they are not afraid of your battle cards, which is smart. They shouldn't be. But this card punishes you for tapping out, thinking I don't have battle cards to knock you over the head with. Worst card of the deck, by far, Heroic Prospect. This card sucks. I'm trying very hard not to curse. This card sucks. It is absolutely awful. It hits absolutely no decks. This is, I have this in here basically out of like loyalty to the negate at this point. This card is absolutely awful. After playing Mike in round 10, I'm definitely going to replace this with one SS4, one Tragedy Overground. Right, just play that small package because this card is absolutely not it. This card is horrible. Like, Bandai, please stop writing this card. We don't need any more of it. 2 hit Deadly Vanguards. This is a card that I like. I want to have access to the ability to bounce my opponent's things without relying on God Sealing, which this card gives me. It doesn't hit things that are super tall, but it hits high enough to where it will crack a lot of decks. Black, playing Super Saiyan God Trunks. It has the flex, so you can't bounce it, but the auto on this card lets you play it and then just bounce it from the board and it just leaves. Since when it leaves the board, it just disappears. That's what this is for. You play it, you on their counter, it doesn't bounce it, deflect, goodbye. Anyways, it still dies. And then you just combo it off you combo it off. This is one of your like play, and then you just combo it off. It's also really good. This is also really good against U7. This is the main reason that this card's actually in here. On their turn 2, when they want to go Android 17 Frieza, if you played first, you can tap 2. They're gonna go Android 17 swing and then play the Frieza. You can then respond with this to bounce both the Frieza and the Android 17. So you force them to waste another turn setting up the same board, pay another 2 mana to set up the same board that they already had. So you punish them with that, and later on it matters in the aggro matchup where you need to sort of have as much time to not get punched in the face as possible. I played 2 Kami in the main. Love the card. Card is absolutely insane. This is really good. This is the yellow answer for the most part. Your opponent's playing yellow. Don't care. Your board's gonna go bye-bye. You want to rest it? Sure. You want to negate my effects? Doesn't matter. I have deflect. So I'm immune to Tyrannical Blow, immune to basically every kind of Bullschlacken my opponent might be playing.
Mm-hmm.
2 King Colds. This card is insane. It's 6 mana, mill 5. It does the absolute most. It is absolutely insane. Like, there are turns where you'll just go 6, hatch, mill 10. It's like, if you're playing a faster deck, you just lost the game, right? Because you see so many cards. If you're playing a slower deck, there's a good chance I hit pieces that you're going to need in order to beat me. And yeah, even if I don't, it's 25k dual attack. So what I usually do is I play it, you mill 5, I swing with it once, I untap it, I swing with my leader, and I combo it off. Just leave my board as clear as possible for the rest of my negates. And yeah, it mills 5. That's literally all it has to do. That's all I care about it doing. So I played, for my one-ofs, I played 1 Android 17 Turn of the Tide. The card doesn't need an explanation. It's absolutely insane. Shuffles your opponent's hand back, shuffles your opponent's drop back. That comes up in some matchups. It's anti-mill. It's antithetical to the mill theory, but it doesn't matter because if your opponent is playing so egregiously that they let you resolve this, they probably die anyways. 1 Kale. Kale's cracked. Good card. Buy it out. Play it. Super strong card. This card won me. I lost against Eddie St. Hilaire, I think round 3 or 4, because I played really, really passively, and I forgot that his leader actually puts back 8 unisons from his drop to his deck. So I was playing really, really passively, thinking I was going to mill him out anyways. That was my mistake. I played against another Drift Crew player the round afterwards, and I literally just dropped every single bomb I had. I played Kale, I played Andrew 17 Turn of Tide, I played the Hatch, I played it all. Every single battle card I had, I swung at his face. And at one point, he had comboed off his Jiren, and I just said Andrew 17, crack. Last card, last one of Hatch. I don't even have to bother explaining this card.
It just gives you another turn.
Yeah,
literally a free turn.
It's a time walk. It says your turn is over, my turn, please, thank you. It also says mill 5 on certain occasions.
All right, so we're gonna go through the side deck, and then we're gonna do a really quick overview of your matchups, and then we'll sign off there. All right.
All right, sounds good. So for my matchups, I played. Actually, let's go for the side deck first. So I sided in really heavy against hand control because blue does not like being touched in the hand. Like,
Ayo.
yeah, like that's definitely on purpose. That's exactly why I said it. That's the point. These are for hand control. That's it. There are some matchups where I sided the ape in without playing against hand control. I put these in against cooler green because I know they play some hand control, but the only cooler green player I played was my friend, and he knew that I was gonna side in for Deborah ish. Knew I was siding in for Deborah for monkeys, so he just stopped hand controlling me. So I made it look like I was siding in for Deborah's. I only sided in two apes and 2 other random cards that I don't remember. Yeah, 6 cards dedicated to not losing the hand control. I probably could have gone without this many slots dedicated to not losing hand control, but I was pretty confident that the deck could deal with basically any other situation except hand control. 2 Jurens. Yeah, card doesn't need an introduction. This card is meant to deal with Gamma. This is for the Blue Baby Mirror. You put these in against the Blue Baby Mirror. Other blue decks don't really exist in the format for the most part. SS3 is really strong, but it can't play Turn of the Tide. I'm not entirely sure what other blue decks are even like. Yeah, but Gamma, I already said Gamma, so Gamma is this is definitely for the Gamma matchup. It also happens to crack the Blue Baby Mirror, but it's also for the Gamma matchup. It's mainly for the Gamma matchup, actually. This makes the Gamma matchup really easy. If you have this in hand, Gamma literally cannot beat you. You just mill them out every time. They just don't have enough swings, which is crazy to say because they play so many cards. 2 Dirty Bursts. This is for U7. Yeah, U7 hate. So I expected to see a lot of U7. I went into this tournament. The tournament was best of 1 pre-side, right? So I expected to see a lot of U7, right? 30-minute rounds, really short rounds. I expected to see a lot of aggro, a lot of U7. We had, again, which there was, apparently. There was 2 U7s in top cut, and there was a Black Mass Sand that bubbled 9th, I think. So aggro was a matchup that I was worried about. 2 Dirty Bursts in the side. You put them in when you need them. I think Mike only played 1 in the main, which is insane to me, but he has fucking bigger nuts than I do. Oh, sorry for cursing. 2 Sun Gohan and Pickle. Yeah, so this card is awful for the most part in a lot of situations. It's meant to deal with Gogeta Xeno. Like, it's meant to deal with 1-drop Black Saiyan, where they will play turning True Fighting Spirits, and then they'll just sit on them and just swing at your face, and they'll tax your hand. This is meant to deal with boards like that. It's like 1 mana, say goodbye to your precious cards, Yugi. So, yeah, meant to deal with those kind of boards, but I never played against Black the entire tournament. So these didn't come up, and there's only 1 Black Mass Saiyan player anyways, so these never came up. The one-ofs, 1 SS4 Son Goku, Protector of the Earth. This was for matchups where I felt like my opponent could go really, really wide. This is actually for Sin. I lied. This is literally entirely for Sin. The point of this card is you play tap 5, bounce their whole field back to their hand. You -2 again to bounce their whole field back to their hand again. Then you turn and tie them, and you just crack them over the face. And that's how you win. But it also came in sometimes as a floodgate against certain decks that I felt had better matchups than I thought they'd have with my list. 4th Bearish from SPR. I'm going to keep mentioning that's SPR. The 4th one, plus 10k. Again, same things that I said about the other 3 are true for the 4th. This comes in against matchups where I think my opponent might go a little taller or a little lower to the ground. Super strong card. Yeah. There's a universe where I play this at 4 in the main and bump the list up to 55. The list is 54 cards, 53 plus the 1 leader, plus the 1 field. So this might be 55 cards. Just jam the 4th one in there. It's super, super strong. There's no reason to not play it. So And the final card, last Kami. Kami that isn't.
I'm back.
Yeah. That's on purpose, because otherwise I will forget to side these out. I will just leave these in my deck, and then I'll draw them, and I'll be like, why is this card in here? So, same thing about the original Kamis is true for this Kami. It cracks boards. It deals with yellow very well. It draws a card. You can combo it off to put pressure on your opponent. It does its job. Good cards. So as far as matchups go, round one, we played... Round one, I played against Red. I have the app up here. I played against Red U7 round one, which was par for the course. I was expecting a lot of Red U7 in this tournament. I only saw one Red U7. I played against Gamma next round. Cracked him over the head because he tried to God Sealing on my turn. he activated Gamma effect, picked up 3, then tried to God Sealing me for 5. He tapped raw 5 for it. Nothing happening. Round 3, I played against Dripku. Yeah, I won. No, round 3, I played against another Gamma. Cracked him too, same way. He was a better player, but he still lost to the mill. Round 4 was against Eddie St. Hilaire. He played Dripku. He absolutely decimated me. I only saw 1 Ready to Rumble, and he saw 3 Koitakais and like 2 Tyrannical Blows. I was like, yeah, bro, when you got it like that, you got it like that. Unfortunately, there's something I could do there. Next round, I played against another Dripku, and Eddie St. Hilaire definitely kind of ruined my day, so I took it out on the other guy, and I just kind of kicked his face in. And I felt really bad because I definitely just jammed bombs all game after turn 5. Like, at one point, I think I hard casted. I think at one point I swung with lead, and he was like, riposte. I was like, tap 5 for monkey. It's like, I'm just going to keep swinging, bro. It's like, yeah, he definitely got the brunt of it. Round 6 was against Green Cooler. Like I said, locals.
Our teammate.
Another teammate. So he knew what I was playing. He knew my strategy. He knew how to counter my strategy. And it ended up going to the last, like, 2 or 3 cards in hand. I had the negate, and I had the Bear Showman in hand. He couldn't deal with it. Round 7 was against Cooler Mill. Another one of our teammates. At one point, I think it was literally just team lag in top 8. It was like,
the entire top table.
The entire top table was
team lag at one point, which is awesome.
Cooler Mill. Yeah.
He boxed you up.
He boxed me up 100%. I left him with 1 card in deck. I couldn't finish the job, and he won, but he gave it up. But I think I definitely still win that matchup, just if I had played it a little differently. Round 8 was against Eric Hill. He played Red Launch. He beat me in time. The only duel where I went to time in the entire event. 10 rounds, 30-minute rounds. That was the only time I went to time. Cracked me. No, he didn't crack me. He just beat me in time because I took a lot of my own life because I was trying to mill him out. It was a crap show. Round 9 was against Muxit. He was playing Trunks Jita. Yeah. Yellow is... I have a pretty decent matchup against Yellow, I think. Without Celzino, the deck is not nearly as scary. Celzino into counter cooler is like... Yeah. That's something I no longer have to deal with, which makes the Yellow matchup so much better. It's like Picklehan is not as scary as Celzino, to my deck at least. I beat him by milling him out. King Cold, he deadly poisoned. Hatch, King Cold again. Mill 10, please. And last round I played against Mike. Better baby player wins. That's all I'll say about that. He definitely cracked me over the head.
All right. Any shout-outs real quick?
Yeah, of course. I mean, big shout-outs to Team Lag. Big shout-outs to the teammates.
Team Lag.
Big shout-outs to the team who we came in. We did our thing. We absolutely showed out. We did the absolute most. Big shout-outs to Game Universe being our locals. Best locals in New York. One of the best locals on the East Coast. Come out if you are trying to get clapped up. Yeah. Big shout-outs to Noel for getting top. For getting first in Swiss and then losing in top 8, and then big shout outs to Jose for getting top 8 and then losing in Swiss. big shout outs to the homies.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for Adrian's deck profile. Please stick around. We are going to be also doing Noel and Jose's deck profile, and we'll have those uploaded. Not pretty soon after this one, I can only imagine, but it depends on how lazy I am to edit videos. But other than that,
Fair.
Catch us at Nats, and hopefully we'll see you guys. If you ever see the red hoodies, walking around a tournament, please come up and say hi.
The red coats. Bit strange, isn't it?
All right, man. Peace out.
Later.